Hello ladies and welcome to the channel. In a world full of noise, those who move in silence hold the most power. There is a certain kind of woman who doesn't seek the spotlight, yet it follows her wherever she goes. She doesn't play by society's rules because she's busy creating her own. This is the Sigma female, the lone wolf, the silent leader, the chosen one. Her presence alone sends ripples through the lives of those around her, even when she says nothing at all. She's mysterious, enigmatic, and deeply self-assured, and this unnerves people in ways they can't explain. As soon as they sense her rise, people begin to react in ways both fascinating and revealing. Some try to outwit her, others whisper in secret, while a few admire her from afar, captivated by her calm strength. But all are drawn to her in one way or another, caught in the magnetic pull of a woman who needs no approval to rule her world. What happens when they notice the Sigma female is different, when they realize she is not like the rest? Here's what you'll see unfold. Number 1. Strategic power play. The moment people sense a Sigma female is rising, their first instinct is often to outsmart her. They think that by being clever, by outmaneuvering her, they can somehow regain control or take the upper hand. What they don't realize is that she's already seen through their game before it's even begun. She's not loud about it, she doesn't need to be. Her intelligence is quiet but sharp, cutting through the surface of things with an almost unsettling precision. People will plan, scheme, and plot, believing they've found a flaw or a weakness in her calm exterior. They mistake her silence for passivity, her independence for isolation, thinking it's an opportunity to strike. But while they're busy trying to craft their strategies, she's observing. She's listening. She's letting them show their hand, all the while quietly positioning herself where she needs to be. When they finally make their move, thinking they've outsmarted her, they're met with something they didn't expect. A woman who not only anticipated their actions but who is already leagues ahead. Her response isn't loud or brash, it's subtle, yet devastating. She doesn't need to prove she's smarter. The outcome speaks for itself. The clever ones soon find themselves tangled in their own tactics, as though she led them there without them even realizing it. What they intended to be a game of mental chess, she turned into a checkmate long before they even noticed. What's most striking is that she never sought to play this game in the first place. She's not out to dominate or humiliate. She simply operates on a level so far beyond the ordinary that those who try to outsmart her end up outsmarting themselves. They come in thinking they'll leave her behind, only to find she was never even in the race. The Sigma female isn't playing against anyone. She's simply in control of her own path, and that's what truly leaves people scrambling to keep up. Number 2. Behind closed doors, the whispering web. When people realize a Sigma female stands out, the whispering begins. It's subtle at first. Small murmurs exchanged behind closed doors, in quiet corners where they think she won't notice. They talk about her, speculate on what makes her so different, so mysterious. Some are curious, others uneasy, but no one can ignore her presence. They're drawn to discuss her because they don't fully understand her, and what people don't understand, they tend to fear. They'll trade rumors, share theories, trying to piece together who she is and what drives her. The truth is, she unsettles them. Her independence, her calm, and her ability to stand alone without seeking approval challenge the norms they're used to. In these whispered conversations, they seek validation from each other, trying to convince themselves that maybe she's not as powerful or as self-assured as she seems. But deep down, they know she is. These hushed talks are often laced with jealousy or admiration, but no matter the tone, the fact remains, they can't stop thinking about her. Even in her absence, she commands attention. The irony is she's probably aware of the whispers but chooses not to react. She's beyond their need for gossip or speculation. The more they whisper, the more they reveal about themselves, not her. Her silence, her refusal to engage, only fuels their curiosity, leaving them wanting to know more, but she remains an enigma they can never quite touch. Number 3. Copy her mannerism, the mimicry effect. When people encounter a Sigma female, they often find themselves unconsciously mimicking her. They notice the way she carries herself, her calm confidence, and the effortless way she seems to command respect without ever demanding it. Soon, they start adopting her mannerisms. hoping that by copying her outward behavior, they can capture the same aura of quiet power she exudes. They might start speaking in a lower, more measured tone, mirroring her steady voice. Some may try to imitate her body language, her composed posture, her way of moving through a room as though she owns the space without trying. Others might take on her habits, whether it's how she listens intently without interruption, or how she seems to always have control over her emotions. It's as if, by embodying her actions, they believe they can unlock the secret to her strength. But here's the thing. What they fail to realize is that her power doesn't come from her actions alone. It's not just the way she stands or speaks that makes her so compelling, it's the deeply rooted confidence behind those actions. She doesn't perform for others, and she certainly isn't trying to impress anyone. Her mannerisms are an expression of her inner peace, self-assurance, and independence. People can copy her all they want, but unless they cultivate that same sense of self, their imitation will always fall flat. Her authenticity can't be replicated, and that's what truly sets her apart. Number 4, secretly seek her guidance, silent seekers. Many who encounter a Sigma female find themselves secretly seeking her guidance, even if they'd never admit it. There's something about the way she moves through life with quiet confidence that makes others want to tap into that wisdom. They see how she navigates challenges without losing her cool, how she seems to know exactly who she is without relying on anyone's approval, and they can't help but wonder how she does it. But asking her outright? That's not something most people have the courage to do. Instead, they might observe her from a distance, trying to decode her methods. They'll watch how she handles difficult situations or listen closely when she speaks, hoping to catch some insight into her mindset. Some might ask for her advice indirectly, disguising their curiosity under the guise of casual conversation or hypothetical scenarios, trying to draw out her perspective without revealing their own uncertainty. Even those who project confidence often find themselves turning to her in their quiet moments of doubt, knowing deep down that she has something they're missing. What they want is her clarity, that calm, unshakable sense of purpose that she carries effortlessly. But the Sigma female doesn't hand out wisdom freely or play the role of a mentor by choice. Her guidance comes from a place of deep self-awareness, and she won't be forced to share it. Still, those who truly seek her insight often find that just being around her offers the lessons they need, even if it's never directly spoken. Number 5. Challenge her calm demeanor, the unshakable challenge. Some people can't stand the calm of a Sigma female. They see her unshaken by chaos, steady in the face of conflict, and it rattles them. They think her calm is a front, a mask that can be cracked if pushed hard enough. So they challenge her, testing her composure, trying to provoke a reaction. They prod her with questions, throw criticism her way, or create situations designed to stir her emotions. It's almost like they want to see her lose control, to prove to themselves that she's just like everyone else underneath. But she doesn't react the way they expect. When confronted, she doesn't flinch. Instead of rising to the bait, she remains grounded, her calm an impenetrable wall that their efforts can't break. Her response, or often lack of it, leaves them frustrated. They wanted her to show weakness, to explode or lash out, but all they find is that her serenity runs deeper than they thought. The more they push, the more they realize that her calm isn't an act. It's who she truly is. This unnerves them. Most people are used to emotional outbursts or defensive reactions when challenged. But the Sigma female is different. She understands that reacting in anger or fear only gives power to the person trying to provoke her. So she stays composed, not because she doesn't feel, but because she chooses not to let others control her emotions. Her strength is in her stillness, and that's something most people can't handle. Number 6. Spread rumor out of jealousy. Jealousy poisoned tongue. Jealousy has a way of creeping into the lives of those who can't quite figure out a Sigma female. People see her moving confidently through life, unbothered by the need for validation or approval, and it stirs something within them. They don't understand how she can be so content, so self-assured, without seeking attention like everyone else. This quiet strength can make others feel small in comparison, and instead of confronting their insecurities, They lash out in the only way they know how, by spreading rumors. These whispers aren't rooted in truth but in envy. The rumors are designed to chip away at her character, to plant seeds of doubt about who she really is. People will fabricate stories, twisting her actions or words to make her seem arrogant or unapproachable. They do this in an attempt to bring her down, hoping that by tarnishing her image, they can feel better about their own shortcomings. But what they don't realize is that the Sigma female is unbothered by their gossip. She knows that rumors are the weapon of those who feel powerless, and she refuses to let them dictate her behavior. She doesn't defend herself or get caught up in the drama because she understands that truth always rises to the surface. The more they try to tear her down, the more she rises above it all, letting her actions speak louder than any whispered lies. In the end, the rumors only serve to highlight her strength, while exposing the insecurities of those who spread them. Number 7. Form alliance to dethrone her, alliances in the shadows. When people realize they can't bring a Sigma female down on their own, they often form alliances, believing that together they might stand a chance. It's not uncommon for those threatened by her independence to band together, thinking that by pooling their efforts, they can outmaneuver her. They hold secret discussions, crafting plans to undermine her, spread lies, or subtly isolate her. In their minds, they're playing a strategic game, one where their combined force might finally be enough to dethrone her. What they fail to understand is that the Sigma female isn't interested in the same game they're playing. While they're busy conspiring, she's staying true to herself, moving forward without being weighed down by their schemes. She doesn't need to manipulate or form alliances because her power comes from within. She operates outside the petty circles of influence they're trying to create, and this frustrates them more than they realize. Even worse for them, these alliances are often built on shaky foundations: fear, jealousy, and insecurity. Eventually, cracks begin to show. While they're united in their desire to take her down, they're also threatened by each other, afraid that someone else might rise if the Sigma female falls. These alliances usually crumble from within, as the very forces they use to unite against her end up destroying their own cohesion. Meanwhile, the Sigma female continues on her path, untouched, her strength undiminished by their efforts to overthrow her. She stands tall while they struggle in the shadows. Number 8. Try to compete, only to realize the rules don't apply. When people encounter a Sigma female, they often find themselves drawn into a competitive dynamic, believing that by following traditional rules of engagement, they can gain the upper hand. They set out to compete, whether it's in professional settings, social circles, or personal interactions, using the usual strategies to measure success and influence. Initially, they might employ tactics such as displaying assertiveness, striving for achievements, or adhering to conventional power plays, thinking that these methods will help them surpass her. They operate under the assumption that if they play by the rules they know, rules designed to manage and manipulate interactions, they can outshine or control her. However, they quickly realize that these rules don't apply to her. The Sigma female doesn't engage in the power games and competition that others are accustomed to. Her strength and influence come from an entirely different place, one rooted in self-reliance, authenticity, and a deep understanding of her own worth. She doesn't follow the traditional metrics of success or the established norms of social interaction. As they compete, they find themselves increasingly frustrated and disoriented. The usual strategies fail, not because they lack effort or skill, but because she operates outside their frame of reference. Her responses aren't influenced by the same motivations or pressures that drive others. In the end, their competition feels futile, revealing that the game they were playing was never one she was bound by. The realization that the rules they relied on were irrelevant to her only underscores her unique and unassailable position. Number 9. Quietly admire her from afar, admiring from the shadows. There's something magnetic about a Sigma female that makes others quietly admire her from a distance. Her presence is powerful, not because she seeks attention or approval, but because she exudes an undeniable confidence and grace that can't be ignored. People see how she moves through life with a rare blend of independence and self-assurance, and they can't help but be drawn to it. They might not interact with her directly, but they follow her actions, noticing the way she navigates challenges and maintains her calm. This admiration often comes with a touch of envy. They see her standing apart from the crowd, not because she wants to be isolated, but because she's comfortable in her own skin. They admire her ability to remain unfazed by the need for constant validation or the pressures of fitting in. It's a quiet, internal respect that many feel but few express openly. These admirers often watch from the sidelines, absorbing lessons from her example. They see how she handles adversity with poise, how she remains true to herself in a world that constantly tries to mold people into something else. While they may never approach her or attempt to befriend her, the impact she has on them is profound. She becomes a figure of inspiration, someone they look up to even if from afar. Her strength and authenticity resonate deeply, making her a symbol of something they aspire to be but might never fully achieve. Her influence is felt quietly, yet its effect is undeniably powerful. Number 10. Romanticizing her mystery, the mystery of her heart. People often find themselves romanticizing the mystery of a Sigma female, creating elaborate fantasies about who she is and what she represents. Her enigmatic nature captivates the imagination. She moves through life with a sense of independence and self-sufficiency that makes her seem almost otherworldly. To those who don't fully understand her, she becomes an alluring puzzle, a character out of a storybook whose secrets are forever just out of reach. This fascination leads to idealization. People craft elaborate narratives about her, turning her into a figure of intrigue and allure. They imagine her as a mysterious heroine, someone whose depth and strength make her both unattainable and irresistible. The allure lies not just in her actions, but in what remains unsaid. Her silence, her refusal to conform, her ability to stay true to herself in a world that values conformity. These elements turn her into a mythic figure in the eyes of those who observe from afar. What's fascinating is that this romanticization often highlights a gap between their perception and reality. The Sigma female is not performing a role or living a fantasy, she's simply living her truth. Yet, to those who romanticize her, she becomes a symbol of ideals and desires they yearn for but feel they can never fully grasp. They fall in love with the idea of her, not realizing that the very mystery they find so enchanting is a natural part of her being, something that exists independently of their fantasies. The Sigma female remains an enigma precisely because she defies conventional expectations and norms. Those who encounter her often react in complex ways, trying to outsmart her, whispering in secret, mimicking her behavior, or even forming alliances to challenge her. Their attempts to understand or influence her frequently reveal more about their own insecurities and desires than about her true self. She moves through the world with a quiet strength and authenticity that inspires both admiration and envy. Those who admire her from afar find themselves drawn into a web of romanticized fantasy, while others who attempt to bring her down only end up highlighting her unique power. Her ability to remain unfazed by societal pressures and to chart her own course makes her a compelling figure, one who remains steadfast in her individuality despite the efforts of others to mold or understand her. In the end, the Sigma female's true strength lies in her self-sufficiency and her refusal to conform. She remains a powerful, inspiring presence precisely because she stays true to herself, untouched by the machinations and perceptions of those around her. Her story is one of self-empowerment and quiet resilience, a reminder that true strength often lies in embracing who you are, irrespective of external validation or the reactions of others. If you found this exploration of the Sigma female's impact fascinating and want more content that delves into unique and compelling topics, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you insightful and engaging discussions. Hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more intriguing content that keeps you ahead of the curve.